Hello, I'm Philip Stoten. I'm here at Apex 2018. I'm joined by Dan Gamota from Jabil. Dan, great to see you. Thanks for stopping by. So much talk at the moment about artificial intelligence. Jared Cohen was the keynote speaker. His two takeaways today were, if you're developing a product, be mobile ready and be machine learning ready. What's going on within Jabil on the AI side, digital twin, augmented reality, that's really challenging you at the moment?
Right now we're really taking the leadership position in terms of how do we build an architecture. Ultimately we want to have an established architecture for data ingestion, having the data ingested, then we can structure it, and then once structured, to run AI on it. At this moment, we don't have necessarily the architecture that would allow us to have that seamless transition from a piece of equipment to a platform that allows us to do the structure and then do the analytics using AI. With that said, we have a very short roadmap for the next 6 months that will allow us to make that solution, to have a solution that allows us to start ingesting data and running different AI algorithms. At this moment, we look at everything as a building block. There's a building block for the communications element, there's a building block for the structuring of the data, and a building block using for the analytics. So I would say at this point, we're more at the blueprint state, doing a lot of thought leadership. We spent the last 2 days with INEMI, a lot of interested parties, which is great with INEMI because there we actually sit at a table with our competitors who then become our collaborators because many of our competitors are grappling with the same issues that we are. So I think that at this point, thought leadership, establishing a strong foundation, and really building on this concept of building blocks. Lego concept, working with something today, it may not be the most efficient building block to have tomorrow. So be flexible.
And some of those foundation building blocks you talk about just go back forever. You know, it's 50 years of manufacturing experience, it's all that supply chain experience, it's the stuff that's gone into In Control and your sophisticated supply chain solutions. So all that comes together, and then you're layering all these digital solutions on top. Are there any of those solutions that are really exciting you, that you see are going to really allow you to help customers in a way that you haven't been able to help them before?
I think there are. What people really want to experience is a physical product without the pain of actually having to design, manufacture, and then do a final assembly. So people want to have that experience, and that experience comes with AR, MR, VR. How do you get the most realistic experience? Is with data twins. So the faster that we collaborate with the material suppliers, the component suppliers, to get the appropriate data sets to allow us to feed into the AR and MR systems, people then experience what they could see in the physical world. So I would say that it's a long journey, but based on the conversations we had over the last 2 days, based on the conversations we have with suppliers of different building blocks, I think it's coming to fruition in the sense that you have people coming together and providing really insight into how to actually link all this. The other thing is we had the other day we were talking about industries that we could actually leverage. There are some industries that already have chemical industries that basically rely on intrinsic knowledge of the feedstock, the chemical analysis of that feedstock, the analysis of the chemical composition after the reaction. That information exists in some industries. We as EMS providers, we don't look that deeply into the viscosity of a material, the color of the material, the surface energy. So what we can do is maybe look at some of the other industries where you have very tight control, significant process in the actual manufacturing, learn from them how they've deployed AI solutions, and then as appropriate, deploy them from us. Because as you know, we don't want data lakes that go untouched for years and years. We want a data lake that has the most important information that we can extract from and then react and change the process real time.
Yeah, it's actionable data. It's making better, faster decisions where you're really going to add value. And I think it's really interesting when you see how Jabil operate, because you're dealing with the digital disruption of your customers' industries, but also with the digital disruption of your own industry. So you can learn and you can share that further up the supply chain.
Correct. And we're with a community such as INEMI, IPC, SEMI, TPCA, all these communities, they bring together industries and industry knowledge. So for instance, we can go on field trips where we maybe go to a brewery, or we can go to a field trip that maybe makes chocolate. Each of these industries has in some way in the past already addressed some of the issues that we will. And I think that this is really going to be a sharing time. So as they say that go with the speed of digital, I think one of the things that for speed of digital is that it's collaboration. Yeah. It's selfless collaboration across different industries and really taking, I don't think we're going from an analog to a digital. I think we're going from a very disciplined methodology which was built on intellectual knowledge that is maintained within engineers to more of a community of information that's housed on a computer. I think that's the analog to digital transition that we're seeing these days.
Yeah, and that's an exciting transition. You talked about collaboration. That's a really important part. One of the identifiers we've seen of collaboration here is the CFX standard. I'm hoping that we'll be talking about it at the show and then we'll be forgetting about it because it just works and it's in the background. Is that something you see happening?
Right now we're agnostic. We have more than 100 sites. And in those sites we have equipment sets that are relatively new, and then we have legacy equipment. What we're looking for is a light layer that allows us to communicate with equipment independent of its age. If CFX turns out to be a light layer that we can implement and deploy, we'll go with it. We obviously are not going to develop a proprietary system. It just doesn't make sense. But we are very actively involved in standards group. What we are seeing is that it's no longer a specific standards group addressing just one problem. It's more of smart manufacturing advisory committees looking at all the different standards that need to be developed and deployed. So to me, CFX could be a very viable solution, but it's only going to be a point solution. We need to look at the entire portfolio of solutions necessary to realize that smart manufacturing.
Yeah, and you need to have the right number of your suppliers on board, and as you say, be able to connect that legacy equipment, and also some of those discrete processes need to get connected into the digital world at some point. So that's important.
And if you look at the ecosystem, when we're thinking of what is the ecosystem going to look at for us to achieve this digital twin scenario, there's academia involved, there are institutes, there are universities that have consortia. We have material suppliers, we have software suppliers, we have equipment suppliers. It's bringing them all together and saying, this is the ultimate goal. So here's the journey we believe to get to the goal. Where's all the off roads that we can take, but still looking at that end goal?
Yeah. Fierce collaboration, that's what it's all about,
yes,
Dan. Thank you so much for your time.
Always good to see you.